And after like saying like pull the plug, Elaine says, "I'd stick." Kramer says, "Yeah, stick, because I can still go to the coffee shop."
I know. Yeah. I think he says, you can eat and the machines do all the rest.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. You can eat, but machines do all the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd stick.
All the other ones up to that point were like Elaine's like, yank it like you're starting a mower.
I know. I gotta have a central nervous system.
Today's movie verdict style episode of Lone Star Lawyers on the Varsity Podcast Network is brought to you by Varsity Search. Varsity Search builds great teams by connecting lawyers in Texas with career opportunities at small and boutique law firms. Just like, the law office of Jackie Chiles. So if you're thinking about making a move or your law firm is looking to hire, please go to varsitysearch.com and book a time to visit right into my calendar. Varsity Search, building great teams. Objection, Your Honor. This is completely inappropriate. My client's medical condition is not the business here. I refer you to the Disability Act of 1990. It's time for all things legal in the best sitcom of all time, Seinfeld.
Well, they don't allow outside drinks in the movie theater, so I had to put it in my shirt and sneak it in.
Yeah, see, they like to sell their own coffee.
Yeah. Now, is that going to be a problem?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for them. This is a clear violation of your rights as a consumer. It's an infringement on your constitutional rights. It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
It's definitely preposterous.
All right, here we go. This is not technically movie verdicts. I'll assume it will file it under the movie verdicts tag, but it is Seinfeld verdicts, or I don't know, Seinfeld legal. We are going to dive into everything legal and law that happened over the course of 9 seasons of Seinfeld. And joining me to do that today is Bobby Soltani. Hopefully you just listened to his episode for our Monday Mentors that we just did and rolled right into this. But if not, welcome to all of you for jumping in on this episode. Bobby, thanks for coming on and doing this with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So Bobby and I, best friends since 3rd grade, and watch Seinfeld every day for probably like 10 years. Still text Seinfeld quotes back and forth. So we'll just go ahead and qualify ourselves as resident experts on Seinfeld, but haven't gone through and watched it in detail in a long time. So it was fun to actually go back and research and remind myself of some of these things. Man, there's a lot of law in Seinfeld.
There is. I was surprised too. After when you first mentioned it, I was like trying to think about a few different episodes. And then as I started thinking about it, it's like there's law in almost every episode, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, someone's almost committing a crime in every episode.
Yeah.
Where I just started jotting things down. Right. Or at least a civil, a tort, or breaking a contract or something.
There is, yeah.
All right. Well, as we like to do in our movie verdicts episodes, I do want to give a quick rundown as a reminder, because I know it's been, 23 years since the show left the air, and 30 something since it first got on the air. So the pilot episode was July 5th, 1989. It's hard to imagine that it's been that long. Summer of 1989, and then the finale was May 14th, 1998. So that's the run that the show went on. 180 episodes. And, I think one thing that people don't realize, because I think most people, even if they didn't watch it or weren't around when it was on network TV, recognize that it was a major show in the course of TV history, and one of the all-time, whatever, best / most watched. But in the early days, it actually struggled to get an audience and to get fully picked up by NBC. So they had just a few episodes in the first season, like 5 that were ordered for the first season, and then 12, like a half season, ordered for season 2. So it took several goes at it before NBC picked it up in the third season with a full set of like 22 episodes like they did back then. Everything's different now with streaming. So this is like old school network sitcom television. And then also, I think it's just interesting to think about too, and we can talk about this for a minute, because I know we watched all these, but like how like in that era, like kind of late 80s to mid 90s, the transition that happened, if you think about NBC television between, I know we can't talk about the Cosby Show anymore, whatever, but Cosby Show to Cheers. And then in each of these situations, it's like you kind of had the prime show was at 9:00 Eastern, 8:00 where we were in Oklahoma in Central Time. But so you had the lead-in show, and then you had the main show kind of. And so it was Cosby, and then it was Cheers, and it really was Cheers for the first 4 to 5 years of Seinfeld's existence before it was Seinfeld. And then it was Seinfeld for several years before Friends came on after that. And so, but that run that NBC went on for like a decade is insane.
It was impressive. It was back then when there was, time slots were huge also. So you had just only a few spots for each week, whereas now there's just media and so many different options. It seems like back then it was just a handful of options, and the entire country would tune in on Thursday nights.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday nights for us, 8:00 East, 9:00 was the prime slot, and so whatever show went there was going to be the highest rated show basically of the week. And so like each network would put its best show Thursday night at that time. So ABC had its deal too. And I mean, Home Improvement was that for a long time. CBS too. And I think that's somewhat, I don't know if Thursday is still the thing, but I think that's still happening for especially like a lot of these, particularly the, like all the NCIs and the, all the stuff like it's on network now. I don't know what they all are, but Blue Bloods or something. I don't know. What do people watch on network?
I don't know. We don't know because we're just still watching Seinfeld.
We've been stuck in 1998 for 20 years. Yeah. And so, but no, so Cheers, which was an awesome show too. I mean, Cheers leaves the air in 93. Seinfeld takes it over. And from there, Seinfeld basically hits 30 million viewers every time it rolls out on Thursday night, which at the time, and even now, I mean, those are huge numbers. So the numbers come down over the course of time because of the fragmentation of media and everything. So back then, everything was more concentrated. So these are huge numbers. And it went back and forth with ER. I didn't even mention ER. ER came after Seinfeld. I mean, in the time slots, it actually came on at 9:00 for us, 10:00 East, and it was a huge show too. It actually would beat Seinfeld sometimes in those middle tier years. And so, but then in the last season, Seinfeld was watched by like 38 million people every week. And just for comparison, I looked back. Sunday Night Football was the highest rated program in 2019-20, and it was getting 20 million. So that's kind of where the dip has gone. So from 38 million for the highest one down to the football stuff at 20. NCIS, I was laughing about that earlier. NCIS was second last year with 15 million. So that was so you take sports out, you compare Seinfeld to today, NCIS is 15. So about double the watch. And a lot of that's due to the media, not so much Seinfeld being twice as good as NCIS, although of course it is. Right. But the finale was watched by 76 million people. Just for reference, Super Bowl gets about 100 million. And it's the 4th most watched finale of all time. MASH, I marvel at this still. MASH gets 105 million people to watch its finale in 1983.
That's hard to believe.
You pull it up on Wikipedia and the most watched shows of all time, and it's Super Bowl, like 35 Super Bowls, with MASH sitting right there at number 9.
Wow.
The MASH finale.
MASH finale.
Cheers got 80 million in 1993. We mentioned it was a great show. And then The Fugitive, The Fugitive, in 1967, getting 78 million.
Wow.
And then Seinfeld. And then Friends is 5th with 52 million. So a pretty big drop to Friends. But also time, I mean, we saw pretty good fragmentation between the mid to late 90s and then the early to mid 2000s, I would even say. So that's going to continue to trend down, I'm sure. But so man, when you think about just the scope and the size of the series itself, I mean, I don't know, like, what do you think about like just those numbers?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to me, especially the 76 million for the finale. That's incredible. But I don't know. I think those types of numbers just aren't possible anymore. It's something where they talk about the water cooler where everyone so it's not only the volume but also the synchronized timing. So everyone was watching it at the same time, and then right after the show, people would talk about it, or the next day would talk about it, and something that doesn't happen as often anymore.
No. I mean, it's funny because the water cooler stuff you would watch it Thursday night. You'd go to school, you'd go to high school right. Friday morning and talk about it or whatever, or college. And then, now I get like the equivalent of that is like, a show drops on Netflix and people are binging it, and sometimes shows are doing weekly, but sometimes they're just dropping the whole season or whatever. Right. And it just kind of depends. But then, the water cooler is social media. And in 1995, 1998, you didn't have social media. You barely had the internet. I mean, you didn't have the internet when the show started. That's actually something that's interesting about the Seinfeld's era, because, I was thinking about an episode, middle of the way through where I think the first time they mention it is Seinfeld says something like, "I got to get on that internet. I'm late on everything."
Everything, right?
Oh, I got to get on that internet. I'm late on everything.
But that's literally, we didn't have the internet for the first 4 or 5 seasons of Seinfeld, practically, because it really wasn't commercial internet until like 96-ish, 97.
It's hard to imagine, and we're sounding pretty old here.
I know. But yeah, and then syndication. Oh, that's the other thing. So, for us, I mean, when we were, this is before Seinfeld, because cable television comes along really kind of strong in the 80s, I would say. Right. I mean, we didn't have cable television when I was a young kid and got it as a junior high kid-ish, or maybe late elementary, junior high. But then I'm trying to think. So, but we weren't able to, this is so funny, the way that things cycled, the technology, because if we wanted to rewatch those Seinfeld episodes, we were having to record them onto a VHS tape. Yeah. Or a Betamax tape first was what I had.
Right, I remember that.
VHS tape. And then while it was on the air, at 8:00 on NBC, and then be able to rewatch it. And man, having those tapes and had put tape on that side to label it and write down each episode that was on there. And then sometimes it get recorded over, such a mess. But then and that was really what you had all of Seinfeld's existence, because TiVo really didn't come along. Actually pausing and recording live television didn't really come along till after it was off the air. Yeah. So that's how we got to rewatch this stuff.
I know.
It's crazy.
You had to make sure you recorded it live. You had to get there on time, have that set up, and then hope there wasn't a tornado warning in the area that maybe they were going to preempt.
Oh no!
Preempt your
we lived
show.
in Oklahoma.
That was the worst.
There was tornadoes all the time. Interrupting. Yeah. Half of those tapes have the weatherman interrupting with tornado coming down to our house. Yeah. No, and then I don't know if this is still how it is, but for the first 5-6 seasons, there wasn't syndication yet, so it wasn't on cable like TBS or whatever every night until much later. So you really did have to capture it on that live Thursday night 8:00. Yeah. And then you had the whole summer where you didn't have it at all. And I mean, Anyway, it's a different era of television watching. That's for sure. 22 episodes, 30 minutes, really 22 minutes minus the commercials. And just a totally different era. So we want to talk about the law because we want to be true to what we do here. So we'll leave it at that for the kind of overall stuff. So I went through, these are not going to be completely accurate numbers, I'm sure. But as best I could tell, I saw that there were at least 18 episodes that had actual, like, either lawyers or lawsuits or trials or crime, something. And then I had, I showed you yesterday, I had like a list of, there's 3 pages of this, by the way, now. 3 pages, notepad pages of, legal pad pages of issues that I saw in various episodes. This was just by scanning really the IMDb episode list and trying to remember what was what. I have just 60 of those written down here. And then so let's pause there and talk about that stuff for a minute. So what for you, like, what are some of the major, like, either trials or legal issues or whatever that jump out to you when we first started thinking about doing this?
Yeah, so I mean, immediately I thought of the finale because the way they set that up, and so they set the finale as the almost half of the finale was in the courtroom, bringing back all the different people that they had wronged over the 9-year run,
right? Which
was just fantastic. I know some people didn't care for the finale.
Yeah, those people don't know.
Yeah, I loved it, and so I thought that was great. And it was great to just see all of them come back. So that was the first one. But there's Jackie Chiles also. I mean, that's another thing. It's just a character you immediately think of when you think of Law and Seinfeld. So that's, for me, it's like he was just fantastic in every episode that he played in.
Well, yeah, and I think one of the things that made Seinfeld special, there were so many things, but one of the things was the number of quality, either recurring guest characters or even like one-time characters. I mean, so like in addition to the 4 of them, the ensemble, which were amazing. I mean, having like a Newman who's in the show regularly, the parents of both Jerry and George, and then just some of the New Yorkie people that were around too, like the Jay Petermans and the David Puttys and some of those people. Right. I mean, there just really wasn't a bad character almost. Like you almost always were happy to see like Putty come back, or a Peterman come back. Like there were, I'm trying to think, like few characters. So to your point about the finale, like when you get to the finale and you get to see all of them roll through the witness stand, it's just like a reunion of like so many great characters. Yeah. It's just awesome. And to do it in the context of a trial.
Yeah, in a trial and with the flashbacks, so that we could kind of, see and enjoy the funny scenes again. And I thought it was really creative. Yeah. Right.
So we'll talk more about the finale and the actual trial here in a little bit. The other, and there may be more. So if I missed one, people let me know. But there were 4 other actual cases or lawsuits that were in the show. So you have Kramer versus Java World.
Okay.
So we have the coffee spill, and we'll talk about each of these. So you have Kramer versus Java World. You have Kramer versus Big Tobacco.
Kramer was quite
Kramer
litigious.
Versus Mitschke.
Kramer was quite litigious.
He was quite litigious. Oh yeah, I said contentious on the other one, but I was using the litigious thing.
Oh, I can be quite litigious.
It's Kramer versus Sue Ellen Mitschke.
Yeah.
In the civil trial, the civil lawsuit for that one, of the O. Henry candy bar fortune. Right. And then the other one is it's Claire versus PlayNow.
Right, that's true.
So
that's true.
And then you have Massachusetts versus Seinfeld et al. So
there's also City of New York versus Newman with the speeding ticket.
I guess that's true.
That's a small.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts really. But.
Yeah, no, you definitely. Yeah, that's true. You have City of New York versus Newman twice, right? Because you have him for the speeding that he gets Kramer down there to testify for him, and then you've got him as the scofflaw.
Scofflaw. I forgot about that one.
So you've got him there twice, actually. Yeah, I should have had those on here as official cases because those would have been official cases as well. Okay, so Kramer versus Java World.
Okay.
All right, that's basically playing completely off of the famous McDonald's coffee case. Right. So, except in this situation, he's trying to sneak coffee from Java World into a movie theater who doesn't allow outside food and drinks, obviously. And then he spills it on himself when he tries to hop into a seat and jump over people and burns his leg, much like the woman in the McDonald's coffee case does. Right. And that's also, I think, the first time that we get to see Jackie Chiles, the lawyer. I think that's his first episode, is representing Kramer.
That's right.
In that case. And yeah, some of those interactions between Jackie and Kramer are just so good.
Well, they don't allow outside drinks in the movie theater, so I had to put it in my shirt and sneak it in.
Yeah, see, they like to sell their own coffee.
Yeah. Now, is that going to be a problem?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for them. This is a clear violation of your rights as a consumer. It's an infringement on your constitutional rights. It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
It's definitely preposterous.
And almost the confidence level of Jackie to win each of these cases.
Yeah. What did say? If you get me one coffee drinker on that jury,
you're going to be a rich man. And then, and so one of the questions he asks Kramer is about the top on the coffee. Did you put the top on, or did they put the top on? Who put the top
exactly.
on? No, they put the top on.
Put the top on.
And then Kramer, is that going to be a problem? Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for them.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Tells Kramer it's a violation of his constitutional right as a consumer.
Everything's a violation of the constitutional right. Egregious, outrageous, preposterous. No, I mean, it's just such a good character. And then going into the settlement negotiations with Java World, and they start to offer whatever they're going to offer, which starts with free coffee. And Kramer just hops up and I'll take it. I'll take it. Who told you to take it? I didn't tell you to take it. Oh, and that reminds me.
It was after the plus. Remember that? Kramer's like, I didn't hear a plus. I didn't hear a plus.
The offers free coffee in all of our stores. Doesn't he say all across
North America,
the United States and Canada and Europe or something? Plus. And then that's when he's
prepared to offer you all the free coffee you want at any of our stores throughout North America and Europe. Plus, I'll take it.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Who told you to take it? Did I tell you to take it? No. I know the maestro didn't tell you to take it. He wasn't there.
Well, I thought we were lucky to get anything.
Free coffee?
Yeah.
I don't want free coffee. It's not hard to get coffee. I can get my own damn coffee. I wanted to hear what came after that plus.
Well, I didn't hear any plus.
20 years practicing law, I've never experienced anything like this.
Look, Java World. Hey, listen, I'm going to get out here. Get myself a free cafe latte.
I didn't hear any plus. So that episode's actually the maestro, who. Oh, so that was the other part that I wanted to talk about. That the other part I love about that is how Jackie Chiles has the doctor for the lawyer on hold all the time.
Just on speed dial.
Call Dr. Bison. Tell him it's for
for me. Exactly.
Like an appointment for Kramer, and he uses the special balm from the maestro.
Yeah, that balm just cured it right up.
That was a problem for the lawsuit. And yeah, so when he takes the offer, then at the end, it's Who told you to take it? I know the maestro didn't tell you to take it. He wasn't there. Oh, like the maestro, that's a great example, right? I mean, because a probably total one-off character who is so funny and so good they bring back for another couple episodes, and including I think the finale. I lose track actually. I think they brought back almost everybody, at least in the gallery. They maybe weren't all on the witness stand, but they definitely had everybody at least in the gallery. I think of the finale episode. No, but and then. And Kramer hopping out to go get his first free cup of cafe latte.
He gets all hopped up on caffeine.
Man, he does. But so then you've got Kramer versus Big Tobacco. Which the whole premise, right, is based on the fact that they don't allow him to smoke at Monk's anymore in the coffee shop. So he creates a smoking lounge in his apartment. And within a matter of days has so much like face, I don't know what you would call it. Like, not deformity, but just like, discoloration from the smoke. Like the smoke's impacted his face so much that, his looks are ruined, and so he decides to sue Big Tobacco. Oh my gosh!
Jackie just takes the case right away. He's like,
It was restful, resplendent, magnificent. In fact, next summer I'm planning on going to Corfu. Oh no,
Jackie, we gotta.
no way, Kramer. You brought me nothing but a mountain of misfortune and humiliation.
Now get out of here.
Jackie, I said out.
Jackie, I think I got a case against the tobacco companies.
The who?
The tobacco companies.
I've been wanting a piece of them for years. Did that cigarette warning label mention anything about damage to your appearance?
No, it didn't say anything.
So you were a victim. And now your face is sallow, unattractive, disgusting.
So, Jackie, you think we got a case?
Your face is my case.
that was pretty.
Your face is my case.
How about Big Tobacco going around Jackie to have a powwow with Kramer?
A little puzzling we haven't gotten that offer yet.
Well, Mrs. Wilkie from the tobacco company called me. And we had a little powwow.
A powwow? Who told you to have a powwow? I didn't tell you to have a powwow.
She made an offer. I took it.
How much?
No, there was no money.
No money? Then what do we get?
Check it out.
This is the most public yet of my many humiliations.
Yeah, she called me. We had a little power. No, but and that we'll play it, but that the outtake, I'll have to find it. I hope I can find it. The outtake, because it's the best outtake of all time, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You ought to come over. Tonight's pipe night.
No, thanks.
Come on.
What happened to your face? It looks like an old catcher's mitt. It's all that. Come on. What did you expect? You know, what? Your teeth are all brown.
No. Look away, I'm hideous.
Kramer with his tobacco face, Jerry be like, "What's with your face?
I know. Your teeth are all brown.
Teeth are all brown."
I wonder how many takes that actually took for them to get that scene. I think even the actual scene,
the actual scene is them sort of barely getting through it. Look away, I'm hideous. Yeah, Jerry cannot get through that scene. But and then the settlement for that is so the Job World settlement is all the free coffee he can get. We don't know what it would have been otherwise.
I think they said
actually,
$50,000. Yeah, I think they said $50,000
plus all the
free coffee. Yeah.
That's right, because we get to see them kind of huddled up talking about what they're going to offer before they come in.
Yeah,
so that's right.
Debating,
50,000 plus.
Yeah, they were debating on whether they should have them examined by a doctor to see the burns and that kind of thing, and then they're like, "No, we want to sweep this under the rug as fast as possible." So
fast as possible. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's that one. The big tobacco settlement is just, as best I can tell, is just putting him up on Times Square as the Marlboro
Man. Yeah.
Oh man, it's fantastic. Yeah. And but Jackie was so upset because when he first took the case, like, tobacco companies been wanting to get a piece of them for years.
I know. About the sign, like, most public yet of my many humiliations.
Yeah. So then Kramer versus Mitschke came about because Sue Ellen Mitschke, who is Elaine's nemesis, is walking down the street with just a bra and a coat, like a sport coat, women's sport coat on, and Jerry and Kramer.
Elaine had bought that for her, right? Yeah.
Which Elaine had given to her as a birthday gift because she never wore a bra normally. And so instead of just wearing it like you would expect, she wears it as essentially a top. And so she's walking down the street and Kramer and Jerry are in the car, see her and get distracted and crash the car, and Kramer's hurt. And the episode is The Caddy. That's the name of the episode because Kramer is attempting to get to the senior tour. And he's got this caddy.
He shoots 3 under par.
And so Elaine's idea is to sue her because she is the heiress to the O. Henry candy bar fortune. And so she's loaded. And Elaine hates her anyway. I think because were they from high school or college? One of them.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a flashback where she stole, like, Sue Ellen stole her boyfriend, I think. And
I think in high school.
I think that's right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, stole her boyfriend in high school and been nemesis ever since. But yet friends. Like that was always the running joke, is they were like best friends or friends, but also nemesis. So yeah, so they wind up sooner. And there's so many. So this is like one of multiple times where let's talk about this too, where the OJ trial and the OJ deal is brought into Seinfeld. Right. So that car chase happens and the arrest of OJ happens in the middle of this Seinfeld run. So like 94, 95. So there's multiple times where that gets brought in. But and it will in this. So this is when you get actually Jackie in the courtroom presenting witnesses, Kramer first, and then Jerry also. And yeah, you were saying, ask him what he shot his last round out.
What was your golf score the last round you played before your shoulder was injured?
3 under par.
Ooh, 3 under par. That's what the professionals shoot, isn't it?
Well, if they're lucky.
3 under par. That's what the professionals shoot.
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky.
Like that's what they just shoot if they're lucky. 3 under par is just only if they're lucky. So, and then Jerry gets up there and asks, so they're trying to establish that she's walking down the street in the bra, like and distracting people. So it's like a negligence suit, basically. Right. And that the damages to Kramer because she was doing that were his lost earnings.
Flouting society's conventions.
Flouting society's conventions. And then I love it basically it becomes like, it's supposed to be like a friendly witness, but it becomes a cross because Jerry doesn't want to give up on the relationship with Sue Ellen Mitschke.
Well, would you tell this jury exactly what you saw at the corner of 83rd Street in Columbus?
I don't remember.
Well, did you or did you not see the defendant wearing the bra?
I don't know. Maybe.
Mr. Seinfeld, I might remind you that you are under oath. Now I ask you again, did you or did you not see this woman wearing a bra?
All right, I saw her. And she was beautiful in that bra. I'm crazy about her. Deliver home
You may step down.
Did you or did you not see Miss Mitschke walking down the street in a bra? And he didn't want to say
I don't know.
All right, I saw.
Yeah, I love how he breaks down.
Yeah, basically breaks Jerry on the stand.
What do you say? I love our whole freewheeling attitude, something like that.
Our freewheeling, free spirit. No, and I think they've got it. That was it. Like that should have been the whole case. That Kramer asks Stan the caddy for his read on the putt.
What's your read, Stan?
You're close. You're on the green. You just have to go for the cup.
What do you mean?
Have her try on the bra. See if it fits.
No. Do it, Jackie. Stan's the man.
Stan? Who the hell is Stan?
He's my caddy.
Your caddy? This is a big mistake.
Look at
Your Honor, we request at this time that Ms. Mitschke try on the bra.
This court will come to order. Go ahead, Miss Mitschke. Try it on.
It doesn't fit. I can't put it on.
Damn fools. Look at that. We got nothing now. Nothing. I've been practicing law for 25 years. You listening to a caddy? This is a public humiliation. You can't let the defendant have control of the key piece of evidence. Plus, she's trying it on over a leotard. Of course, a bra's not going to fit on over a leotard. A bra's got to fit right up against a person's skin. Like a glove.
You're close. You're on the green. Just need to go for the cup. Have her try on the bra. Of course, mimicking having OJ try on the glove in the actual trial, and so they have her put on the bra over the top of her that leotard that she's wearing, and it doesn't fit, and then they basically all break down and lose the case, and Jackie's frustrated again of you can't give the defense the key piece of evidence.
I know. Again, they do the tie back to the glove also.
Yeah. Bra's got to fit right on a person's skin. Like a glove. And that scene is shot where you can see Jerry in the gallery right behind Jackie, Kramer, and the caddy, and Jerry's barely keeping it together.
Oh, really?
Jackie's like, yeah, this Jackie's losing it. So that's actually like besides the finale, that's the other like big trial that you get.
It is.
Yeah. Because you get like the little, we'll talk about the little municipal trials. We should do that with Newman because those are great. And then the finale. But then so Claire versus PlayNow, we don't get anything from that other than it's just George reading basically the news blurb.
Yeah, I think it's in the news, right? She won her lawsuit against PlayNow, and then PlayNow's filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah, and that comes to be because I think this is probably your favorite. Darren might be your favorite.
Yeah, that has to be.
Like side character and side story of the whole thing.
I love
the
Darren.
whole season.
I love Darren.
Or the whole season.
Everything about Darren is great. Every scene he's in, it's just perfect.
Yeah. So talk about Darren. People probably don't know who Darren is.
Yeah. So Darren. Kramer, he's, at the beginning of the episode, he's just realizing, even though he doesn't have a job and doesn't really do a whole lot that we can tell, just doesn't have enough time. And so he decides to go to NYU and get an intern to help him out with his day-to-day activities. And so Darren is Kramer's intern for Kramer's company, which he calls Kramerica Industries. And and so Darren mostly takes notes for Kramer while he's out. He answers his phone and answers Jerry's phone. I think Jerry's phone is line 1. Kramer's phone is line 2.
Right.
What else does he do? Men's chicken wire. Schedules lunches. Men's chicken wire. Has tea with Newman. So yeah, just everything about Darren's great.
A high tea with Mr. Newman. Yeah, and so one of the projects that they hatch while Darren's interning with Kramer is a bladder system for oil tankers. This is kind of on the heels of like Exxon Valdez and oil tankers spilling out into the ocean, crashing and spilling out in the ocean. And the idea is to have a rubber ball system, a bladder system inside the tanker that the oil goes in. So if they, it's just so ridiculous to say it out loud. So if they hit, the rocks aren't going to tear up the bladder. I don't know that it won't leak out oil. And so they decide to test it by dropping it out of George's window at PlayNow from however high up. And when they do, Claire, Jerry's love interest in the episode, happens to be standing right underneath it. And it hits her and covers her with oil. And that's the lawsuit, is Claire versus PlayNow. Man.
And she doesn't look up when Jerry yells down at her because she thinks it's this voice that they've been doing the whole episode, where they ridiculous voice.
Yeah, they made fun of her belly button making a voice. Hello. So when they yell at her from the window, Claire, hello. She won't look up. And when she doesn't look up, she gets hit by the giant ball of oil.
I've been beamed by a giant ball of oil.
It says,
America. If you had told me 25 years ago that someday I'd be standing here about to solve the world's energy problems, I would have said you're crazy. Now let's push this giant ball of oil out the window.
You know, Darren, if you would have told me I'd be about to solve the world's energy problems, I'd have said you're crazy. Now let's go drop this giant ball of oil out the window. Oh, man. Yeah. And then as soon as it's over, how about this? Ketchup and mustard in the same bottle.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that didn't work.
Just moved on to the next idea right then.
Move on to the next idea. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the two municipal trials. So
we got to finish up what happens with Darren. So that's at the very end also. Sorry. Yeah. So apparently, so when PlayNow lost its suit, they filed for bankruptcy, and someone asks about, what happened to Darren, and Kramer says, Darren's going away for a long, long time. So apparently Kramer pinned the whole thing on Darren. Poor guy.
It's the whole thing on Darren, the intern.
Yeah. So.
And man, yeah, the NYU, or I can't remember if it's NYU or if they make up a fake name, but the NYU people were like, we can't allow him to continue doing this and or work in a place where that may or may not contain a chicken. Yeah. Kramer says, and with Darren's help, we'll get that chicken. Oh my gosh, that whole episode. He yells at Darren after at the lunch. I can't remember if it's George or Elaine shows up, and it wasn't a plan.
It wasn't on the itinerary. Yeah,
it wasn't on the itinerary. Darren.
He gets the wrong ice cream. He's like, "Kid's still learning."
Kid's still learning. That is such a great episode. All right, so then we've got two traffic-related issues with Newman that go to court. The first one is the speeding one, and so that's the one where he gets Kramer to vouch for him that he doesn't deny that he was speeding. He's basically asserting an affirmative defense, right? Yeah. That he was speeding, but it was to save Kramer from killing himself.
Yeah, he had a reason. And I love when they're trying to come up with the reason that they're going to use at the courthouse. I love how they don't even talk about it beforehand. They're just like, let's come up with an excuse here.
They're waiting to get called in, for their docket to be up. And they decide on Kramer has never been able to achieve his goal of becoming a banker. That's the whole story.
Yeah. But first, Kramer suggests a different story that Newman shoots down. Doesn't Kramer say something about it's too hot, or he doesn't have an AC? Hot. He doesn't have an air conditioner.
Yeah, he doesn't have an AC. It's too hot to sleep.
Yeah, Newman's
down like, every night I sleep in a really hot room. I don't want to kill myself. You can't sleep. You ever sleep in a really hot room? I think I got Kramer's side on that. I can't sleep in a really hot room.
No thanks.
So Newman embellishes and says, on the way home from Parcheesi with an old blind man, I do volunteer work for the blind. Yeah, Parcheesi. Did anybody play Parcheesi anymore? I don't
think so.
I doubt it. Newman like directing Kramer on the stand is some great fun lawyering.
It is, yeah. And Kramer, he's having memory issues, right? Because he was that episode, so he was kicked in the head by Joe
right?
Davola, and so he's having trouble remembering the story and what the plan he's supposed to follow, and so Newman's having to lead him on just every single question. Yeah, that's classic.
And then Kramer just totally forgets the whole plan midway through, and then
Of September 10th, you received a phone call, did you not?
Phone call?
Yes, a phone call.
From who?
From me.
From you?
Yes, from me. From me, I called you, remember?
Called me?
Yes, I called you, you idiot, because you were going to...
What?
Remember? You were gonna do something. To yourself? You're gonna do something yourself? Remember the banking? The banking wasn't working out, the banking!
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to call an...
There's a banker!
What banker?
A banker! You're right.
That's enough, Mr.
Your Honor, Mr. Kramer's obviously very distraught.
I'm distraught!
You shut up! I demand a recess so that I can take him outside and help him regain his composure.
That'll be $75.
What's the matter with you, jerk? We had it all worked out.
drive Newman up the wall, and Newman looks like the crazy one, where really Kramer is the one whose head's like out of whack. But the judge, I love the judge in that one and in the other traffic one, because the judge, I think Newman's saying something like, he says, and it was your dream to become a banker. Your father, it was his dream for you
to become a banker.
For being a banker, and the judge says, tries to interrupt him. Is like, get to the point kind of thing. He's like, Your Honor, I'm just trying to establish my client's emotional state at the time. My entire case
depends on it. I had to build a foundation here.
The judge's face is just like,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Go ahead.
Became a banker, did you, Mr. Kramer? Why? Why did you fail?
I don't know.
It was because you hated your father and you would do anything to displease him. Isn't that true?
Could you get to the speeding?
Yes, I intend to, Your Honor. And
He's like, this is traffic court.
Yeah, it's traffic court, right? Like 100 other people coming in 6-minute increments behind you.
Exactly.
Or whatever. So, and then, because you're going to, he said, and on the night of September 10th, you received a phone call. Phone call? Yes, a phone call.
Then Newman asks him something off the script. I think he asked, why were you so upset?
Oh, yeah.
Kramer's just like, I don't know. It wasn't part of the script.
Why? Why did you fail? I don't know. Oh, no, that's where it was. Isn't it because you hated your father and you do anything to displease him? Isn't that true? And that's when the judge said, can you get to the speeding? Yes, I intend to. And then he gets to the phone call. And yes, phone call. I called you, remember? You called me? That was the whole thing. And then at the end, it's like, that'll be $75.
$75. I know. What was didn't Kramer have a line there where Newman asked him a question and he said something like, yeah. What was that? He's like,
yeah, he says,
I was very upset that day because I could never become a banker.
And this failure to become a banker was eating at you, eating at you inside.
Yeah.
I remember that made such a funny face. Like,
yeah, he does. He says, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the other municipal trial or traffic court trial is the scofflaw. So this is where Newman, we don't know. There's a scofflaw who's racking up parking tickets, driving the cop with the with the eye patch crazy the whole episode. We don't know who it is until the middle to end of the episode. But Kramer keeps getting in the way of the cop catching the scofflaw, and it's driving the cop crazy. And then Kramer decides to adopt the eye patch as a fashion statement.
There's only one
the only problem with it is it's itchy.
It's itchy.
There's only one problem, and you can only see out of one eye. No, it's itchy.
It's the only problem.
That's the only problem with it. But then when you do learn that Newman is the scofflaw, Kramer sees him driving off, and then Newman gets busted, and they wind up going to court over it. He's got all these unpaid parking tickets. And and that judge, man, she is the best.
Oh, yeah.
And her eyes, her face, her voice, all of it. She's just so great. And she says, when she says, I think what would be best for the city and for you is to keep your car in a garage. And he just bursts out like...
I have given this matter some very serious consideration, and I've decided that what's best for the city and possibly for yourself is for you to keep your car in a garage convenient to your home.
I can't afford that.
Afford it you will, Mr. Newman. Or this court will see that your car is impounded and sold at auction.
Right.
I can't afford that.
Afford it you will, Mr. Newman. And then the best is Kramer says, "Don't you worry, Your Honor. He's in my custody."
Well, don't you worry, Your Honor. He's in my custody.
She just like gives this look. It's the combination of her look and the music goes ba-doom, because they're going to transition scenes.
Yeah.
It's the scene transfer music, but it's also kind of a ba-doom, it's just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
The way she looks down at Kramer, who's got the eye patch on and the leather jacket.
Does he put his hand on his shoulder like he's just I'm chaperoning him? It's so great.
It's like he's vouching for him. I'll take care of him.
I'll take care of him. That gives the judge a lot of comfort, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. So those are our actual cases, our trials that we have. It's funny though, with all that said, and I have 60 pages or 60, not 60 pages, 3 pages, 60 things of notes of different legal issues. I only counted a handful of actual lawyers that we get to see over the course of the 180 episodes. There weren't that many. Okay. Let's see if I'm going to go through them real quick. Let's see if I'm missing any. Okay. So we've talked about Jackie Chiles already. Okay, so actually, I don't think we really know the Java World people. I don't know if those are the executives or the lawyers that are talking about the settlement offer.
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
entirely clear.
It's not clear
we
there.
don't really know.
Yeah,
maybe there's a lawyer in there, but I don't think we have a for sure lawyer there.
Right.
And then I do think the Mrs. Wilkie it says from the tobacco company, but I think she was probably the lawyer.
She seemed like their lawyer, yeah. She did seem like that.
/ lobbyist / PR person,
right,
maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
But those are kind of maybes. So if you don't count those, you've got Jackie, you've got Vanessa from the very second season, who is the Simon Bennett Robbins Oppenheimer Taft.
Right. Yep.
Which the law, I love that though, because that's really one of the only law firms that we get.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Of the whole season.
Seinfeld just keeps repeating it over and over, so he'll remember it when he gets home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always thought it was Simon. So it's I wrote it out so we can get it all. It's Sagman.
Sagman, okay.
It's Sagman, Bennett, Robbins, Oppenheim, and Taft.
Okay.
So you got 5 names.
5 named partners. That's
so obviously today, if that firm was still around, it'd probably be going by Sagman Taft or Sagman. you wouldn't have all the, we've kind of condensed everything down to 2 and 3 syllables now,
yeah.
or 1 seed.
Right.
So Vanessa worked for that firm, and so that's pretty funny. Actually, we do have a fake lawsuit, a tattoo removal lawsuit.
That's true. Yeah, that one.
I forgot about that. I didn't even have that in my notes. Of Vanessa. So
spelled mom with 2 O's.
Yeah. So in that episode, he meets Vanessa at a birthday party for one of Elaine's friends, right? And winds up he's tagging along with Elaine, and meets Vanessa, who's a lawyer at that firm, and he doesn't even get her name. That's right. He doesn't get her name.
That's right.
And he's trying to kind of walk the line of flirting with her, but not making Elaine mad, because they're still sort of, it's early in the series. So it's like kind of like Jerry and Elaine are kind of relatively recently broken up, it seems like. And so they're kind of recent exes. And so he doesn't want to like make her mad because they're friends now. So he doesn't like flirt with her too much, but he wants to get to know her or find out who she is. So there's this whole thing about how do you find a lawyer at a law firm when you don't know her name. And this is, again, like pre-internet, pre-social media. Like you'd have so many ways to try to find this person today. And you have one way, which is to go stake out the lobby of the building of the law firm and wait for her to come down for lunch.
Seems like a plan that we might come up with.
Which is Jerry's dad's idea.
Yeah. That's right. He came up with that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
She goes to lunch, doesn't she?
There you go.
Oh, wait for her to come down. Which is, remember, like the original filming of that was the other actor that played Jerry's dad in the first couple of episodes.
That's true.
Maybe just one.
It might have been just that one.
And then they reshot it with the actor that played Morty after that. Yeah. And so the syndication, I think, ones are all with the one who played him all the rest of the time. But yeah, so but anyway, yeah. So one of his jokes that he uses on her is that that he, what was it? How did it get to the tattoo part? Like, how did that start? I forgot. So
did he say that they were the law firm that handled his tattoo removal lawsuit?
She says she's a lawyer with that firm. Okay. That's the firm that handled my tattoo removal lawsuit.
Okay. That's kind of risky because it seems like the next question would have been, who was your attorney?
Yeah, right. And then it's, imagine spelling mom with two O's.
Two O's.
And then it's obviously a joke and funny. What do you do? I'm a comedian. There you have it. Mm-hmm. But then it's like she has to leave and immediately, and so he doesn't get her name, and that's why he has to find her. But I do think that's a good comment though on the legal profession though. The long firm name with lots of last names in it that you can't remember them all, and then the pre-internet era of trying to find people that you can't remember their names, don't know, stuff like that. So. Yeah. But we don't ever see her litigate or we don't see her in action as a lawyer.
No.
But she is in 2 episodes, I think, actually.
Oh, really? I can't remember.
Well, or is it all one episode where they go to Vermont or go out? Or
I think that might be the same episode, but I'm not positive though. I don't know. It does seem kind of different. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's a second episode.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But we were saying at the beginning how many great characters there were. Mm-hmm. She was not a great character in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
So it's amazing that she got 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she's because remember she's it's in that stock tip episode because she's telling him about why the stocks go up and down. That's and he loses all that money.
You're right. Yeah.
He sells on that stock tip and George wins on the stock tip.
You're right. Yeah.
So I think it's second episode. So you have Jackie, you have Vanessa. Okay, you have Cheryl, the immigration lawyer
and patent lawyer. She's one of my favorites because I remember that she does it all actually. So I think she does immigration, divorce,
and naturalization.
Immigration and naturalization.
Yeah, the way that they frame there and say that.
I know. Yeah,
she delivers that line.
It's so
immigration and naturalization. I know. Yeah. What very distinct.
Is it George when he's trying to? He's like, is that when you immigrants come here and you teach them how to act natural?
Yeah, and so how does? I was trying to think how George and her actually met. It's at the coffee shop. I'm trying to think what instigated them actually talking.
I don't remember how it started. I can't remember either.
I can't remember.
George was funny. he was
That's
on.
right. So George is funny. He says something. He says that joke. He says maybe something else funny, and she's like into the funny. And then Jerry shows up, and the whole episode's about trying to keep Jerry from being funnier than him, so that he can be the funny one, and because she likes the funny. And so she's and they try to get her to help with Babu's immigration problems.
Right.
Because his immigration or his visa renewal form gets put into Jerry's mailbox while he's out of town, and he doesn't get it turned in time.
Yeah.
And so he's about to be deported unless Cheryl can help him.
Right. Yep.
And then she winds up not helping because she gets mad at Jerry and George for playing her, lying to her.
Right.
About who's funny and who's not.
Right, exactly.
Babu gets deported.
And she also represents her cousin Ping in the lawsuit against Elaine. Remember Elaine?
That's a lawsuit that we didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't have.
About that. Yeah, so Elaine is the runs out to chase a virgin, and runs over the delivery driver Ping. So yeah, she's also represents Ping.
Yeah, and they call her the Tiger Lady.
No, the Terminator.
The shark.
The Terminator.
The Terminator.
Yeah.
You never lose a case.
I know.
Now you make her mad.
There's this hasta la vista, baby.
That's right, the Terminator.
They call her the Terminator.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so so Ping is the Chinese delivery food driver on the bicycle that she knocks over, and then they thought they were going to settle it after they all liked each other, and then when they found out the lawsuit back on.
Yeah, I know.
That's so great. Left that one out. Can't believe it. So Cheryl. So then you don't ever hear him, I don't think, but Frank Costanza's divorce lawyer.
Oh yeah, another one of my favorite.
In The Man in the Cape.
Wears a cape, played by Larry David. That's great.
Before anyone really knew who Larry David was, other than he was the creator and a writer, but this was pre-Curb Your Enthusiasm, so he was not like worldwide famous at that time.
For sure, yeah.
No, definitely not. And so but the Man in the Cape created a whole thing because everyone was trying to figure out who who Frank was with in the city, this man in the Cape. It turns out it was his lawyer for the divorce with him and Estelle.
He does have a line at the end of the episode. Remember when he's on the bridge, and someone asks who he is, and he says, "I'm Frank Costanza's lawyer."
Frank Costanza's lawyer.
Doesn't say his name. He's Frank Costanza's
Doesn't say his name. I'm Frank Costanza's lawyer. Great. Oh man, Larry David, amazing. Obviously voiced George Steinbrenner as well. Okay, so then Schellbach.
Schellbach, he's a good one too.
Schellbach.
So that's Kramer's Wills and Trust lawyer, right?
Wills and Trust lawyer, and played by Ben Stein, who's classic. And man, yeah. So that whole episode is the back and forth over what Kramer's going to do in all of his different incapacitated states. Instead of just the kind of standard language that is in most of those declarations, they go through every possible scenario.
Well, I love what Kramer first tries to do his own, that he writes out by hand, his own medical directive, and he talks about he references the movie that he saw. What was that?
Having just seen The Other Side of Darkness, and not wanting to end up like that woman in the movie.
I love it. That's part of his thing.
I, Cosmo Kramer, having just seen the movie The Other Side of Darkness, and not wanting to be in a coma like that lady in the movie, hereby want Jerry Seinfeld to remove my life support, feeding machine, lung blower, etc., etc., etc.
Can you do that for me, buddy?
Well, I don't know if what you have here constitutes a legally binding document.
Well, I'm gonna type it up.
And he's reading it to Jerry. Or no, Jerry's reading it out loud, I think.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry's reading it. Yeah. He hands it to Jerry. Jerry's reading it. And Jerry says, "I'm not sure what you have as an official document here." And Kramer says, "Well, I'm going to type it up."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. I guess he decides that's not going to be sufficient. Yeah.
But no, go this. So the woman wakes up at the end in the movie, but he never watched all the way through. And he wants Elaine to be the medical power of attorney because won't hesitate to pull the plug if she needs to.
Exactly. When he tells Jerry, it's like, I didn't know it was possible to come out of a coma, and Jerry says, I didn't know it was possible not to know that.
Oh, Jerry, listen. I saw the rest of that movie, The Other Side of Darkness. The coma lady wakes up at the end.
Oh, I wanted to see that. Thanks a lot.
I didn't know it was possible to come out of a coma.
I didn't know it was possible not to know that.
How was Eric Roberts as the husband?
Oh, unforgettable. All right, I gotta find Elaine. She's gonna pull my plug.
Well, and that's not the first time we deal with coma victims, right? Because remember in the early stages where the neighbor guy is in the coma, and they talk about how if they're not out of a coma in 24 hours, then everything in the apartment is up for grabs.
He loot the coma victim. Yeah, I'm not sure that's accurate.
And his girl, his job, his things, they're all up for
grabs. Kramer
I want to get that vacuum cleaner back. Someone's going to take it.
Kramer visits him in the hospital, and he's yelling at him. He's like, give me my vacuum cleaner.
So they're in the office with Schellbach, the state lawyer, and the planning lawyer, and they're going through all those scenarios, and it's like, I can't remember all of it, but it's like
situation number 4. You're breathing on your own. You're conscious, but with no muscular function.
Well, would I be able to communicate?
I don't see how.
I don't like the sound of this one.
Yeah, let's pull the cord.
Yank it like you're starting a mower.
Moving on. You have liver, kidneys, and gallbladder, but no central nervous system.
Well, I gotta have a central nervous system.
Okay. 1 lung, blind, and you're eating through a tube.
No, that's not my style.
Boring.
All right. You can eat, but machines do everything else.
I'd stick.
Yeah, stick. Because I could still go to the coffee shop.
That's right.
You're blind, you something else, but you can eat. And after like saying like pull the plug, Elaine says, I'd stick. Kramer says, yeah, stick, because I can still go to the coffee shop.
I know. Yeah. I think he says you can eat and the machines do all the rest.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. You can eat, but machines do all the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd stick.
All the other ones up to that point were like Elaine's like, yank it like you're starting a mower.
I know. I gotta have a central nervous system.
I gotta have a central nervous system. Oh my gosh, that is so great. And Schellbach's part of the tennis one too, right? Because the tennis ball. That's how at the end Kramer winds up actually what he thinks is in a coma.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He tracks down Schellbach. Oh, he's tracking down Schellbach to change it back because he saw the other side of the end of the movie, and now he wants to undo everything.
Undo it before something happens and Elaine pulls the plug.
But man, so great. All right, so Schellbach, and then you've got the district attorney, Hoyt. I didn't know his name. I had to look it up in the finale. That's the district attorney that's prosecuting the 4 of them in the case. So that you got that prosecutor. I think that's it for lawyers.
That's it.
I think that's it for
right.
lawyers.
I can't think of any others. I mean, I know Kramer was really close to being a lawyer, but he never made it. I was this close to being a lawyer.
I think that's in episode 1.
Oh, really? That's
in the pilot.
Wow, that's crazy.
Look at you pulling that one out. they're sitting on the couch. It's the pilot episode. They're sitting on the couch. I'm trying to think about what prompts that comment. He's trying to figure out how the whole episode's really about Jerry hosting this woman from out of town who's going to be in New York to speak at a conference or attend a conference or something like that. They had met on the road, like in Michigan, while he was doing a stand-up show there. And so she calls him up, and the whole thing is about, are they going to hook up, or does she have a boyfriend, or what's the purpose of the relationship? Or she calls him to say she's going to be there. And Jerry's confused about the status of their relationship. And Kramer says, "Do you want me to talk to her?"
Yeah.
I could talk to her. I can be very, very persuasive.
Oh, that's what it is.
You know that I was almost a lawyer. Jerry says, "That close, huh?"
Close.
You better believe it. That's that exchange.
That's
episode
great.
1.
I forgot about that. That's so good.
Man, yeah, he was almost a lawyer. I forgot about that one. That's so good. We already talked about the judges in the municipal trials. We had those 2 judges. We had the judge and the caddy. By the way, I did look at the name of the judges. So it's the guy in the parking ticket episode is Judge Sackett. Okay. And then the judge in the scofflaw one is Judge Hart. Okay. And then the finale is Judge Arthur Vandelay, of course.
That's the best.
Yes. And Arthur Vandelay, we were talking earlier about the stakeout episode with Vanessa, the lawyer, and that gets invented in that episode by George. Of course, Art Vandelay becomes his pseudonym for any time he doesn't want to use his name. He uses Art Vandelay. But that's when they're trying to come up with who am I going to be? Art Core. Valet.
Exactly.
Art Corvalet. Art Corvalet? It sounds made up. And then when she's coming out of the elevator, it switches like, who am I? Who are you? I'm Art Corvalet. Vandelay.
Well, what do you want me to say? I just wandered in here?
We're having lunch with a friend. He works in the building.
What is his name?
Bert Harbinson. Bert Harbinson.
Bert Harbinson.
Right.
It sounds made up.
Okay. All right. Art Core.
Art Core.
Valet.
Corvalet?
Yeah.
Wait a second. That's her. On the right.
I forgot who I am. Who am I?
You're you. We're having lunch with Art Corvalet.
Vandelay.
Corvalet.
Let me be the architect. I can do it.
And Art Vandelay becomes a running joke through the entire series, and the judge in the finale is Arthur Vandelay. And then Jerry says, "Hey, look, Arthur Vandelay. I think it's a good sign." Which, by the way, Judge Vandelay is played by Stanley Anderson, who actually has a lot of credits, a longtime actor, and he was in another movie, Verdicts episodes that we did, Runaway Jury. He plays the CEO of the gun company. And good actor. So that was a good one.
Yeah, he was.
But then the judge in the caddy episode, the kind of the O.J. Mitschke trial, didn't have a nameplate, no name.
Oh, really? Interesting. Huh.
The others had nameplates, but no name in the caddy episode. Huh. So just judge.
Just judge on that one.
Just judge. Okay, let's take a quick break so I can let you know that if you are a Texas lawyer with between 2 and 6 years of experience, we have a number of opportunities available all over the state in litigation, in M&A, in corporate and real estate, family, even personal injury. Now, some of these may require that you wear a cape as part of your business dress code, a la Larry David, but otherwise, I'm sure that it's a fine opportunity. So if you or someone you know might have interest or just want to talk about your career, things that might be out there for you, please email me, Daniel@VarsitySearch.com. Would love to connect. All right, now let's get back to Seinfeld. All right, let's give some awards.
Sounds good.
All right. So the best lawyering. What do we think? Okay, here are just a few possible options. There's definitely more, so feel free to add to this. So, and this doesn't have to be the best lawyering. This can be also, since it's comedy, this is Seinfeld, it can be the funniest lawyering. Okay. So we can use different things here. So I kind of had letting Sue Ellen try on the bra, that was obviously an evidentiary moment of weakness.
That was.
We've talked about the Newman leading and crossing Kramer on the speeding ticket was pretty great. I did pull a Jackie Chiles objection, just for an objection to where he says in the finale episode, Your Honor, this is completely inappropriate. My client's medical condition is not on trial here. I refer you to the Disability Act of 1990.
Oh, right. That's okay.
They're like, overruled. Sit down.
I like Jackie's objection of Mabel Choate, the first witness. So he says,
what was that one?
So they bring her in, and I guess it's the first one, and so they're trying to see if they can bring in these character witnesses. And Jackie, he says, her testimony is irrelevant, irrational, inconsequential. It's like she hasn't even said a word. It's like, it's irrational.
Oh, he always had those three like hyperbolic words that he would throw together.
Yeah.
Then
Kramer would always repeat like the last one. He's like, it was preposterous.
It was. It's definitely preposterous. Yeah. We had some good negotiations over the course of the series. So like, and you had Kramer and Newman negotiating over the number of wishes.
Yeah.
Your next 50 wishes. 48. 49. Done. Suckers.
I like that. It goes from 1 to 50 to 48.
1 to 50 to 49. Kramer and Morty negotiate over that raincoat percentage.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too.
They agree initially on 25, and then Kramer, they both think they're getting screwed, so they come back at it. Kramer says, I've been thinking about this. I think 35.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like 15. All right, 25. Done. All right, back at 25. And then also Russell Dalrymple basically negotiating them down from 13,000 to 8,000 for the pilot.
That's a good one. The opposite of the goal.
No, for both.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was thinking Seinfeld and Putty negotiating for the car. That's pretty good, too. Who in the Jerry's like, he's ripping me off.
Oh, yeah,
Back
absolutely.
And forth, and he starts from the black car, then ends up with goes with the yellow car.
Can't give you black and white.
Starts charging him for keys and rust proofing, everything.
Rust proofing.
Like that. Yeah.
Keys. How you gonna
start it? Yeah.
Taking me to Arby's.
Hey, where were you?
Let's finish this up.
Did you two break up?
That chick's whacked. Or history. Just left out a couple of things. Rust proofing.
Rust proofing?
Transport charge. Storage surcharge. Additional overcharge. Finder's fee.
Finder's fee was on the lot.
Yeah, that's right. And floor mats. Keys.
Keys?
You're going to start it.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, another good negotiation was the coffee company with offering. We talked about this some, but offering Kramer the free coffee, and Kramer just immediately taking it. That was the worst negotiation by Kramer.
Oh, another one was. This is a question, like what the deal was, because George makes a deal with Newman to drop off calzones on the way to Yankee Stadium every day. And then they argue over what the deal was, because on a rainy day, he doesn't do it.
It's true. It was technically...
I believe the deal was that I deliver calzones on my route. Today I won't be going on my route, will I? Yeah, so there's a little good contract issue.
Exactly. Like, who drafted that language here when there was ambiguity?
Yeah.
I had a couple arguments that I thought of that were non-lawyers, so they both involved Newman. So the first one was the Kramer doing the whole, Jerry doing the whole recreation of JFK when Newman and Kramer were allegedly spit on by Keith Hernandez. So that's a good one where Jerry does the entire courtroom reenactment there.
It is really good. Yeah. Jerry does a good job of lawyering right there.
He does.
It really is.
Pauses in midair, mind you.
Lands on Newman's left thigh.
I know.
That is one magic glue. That's a good one.
The other one is when Newman's trying to prove his mail fraud case against Jerry, and he brings the exhibits that he gets the photos, and so he has the photos of adjusting the Jerry with his stereo, and then the George photo that's slipped in there where George is posed on the couch with his shirt off. Yeah, just the timeless art of seduction.
The timeless art of seduction. Later co-opted by our friends Rusty Duncan and Bart Brewer for advertising for the carpet store.
That's got to be one
in real life.
That's got to be one of the best ads of all time.
We will put that in the notes to this episode. The timeless art of saving.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a good one. I was trying to think from the finale. There wasn't just any just necessarily great lawyering that stood out to me, other than just that a couple of objections from Jackie.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what wins there. What do you think?
I mean, I think probably for me, the Sue Ellen Mitschke and trying on the bra in court. That's got to be up there.
The whole court scene with her. Yeah. All right. Let's give that one the winner. That's good. All right. The Aaron Brockovich Award we usually give to kind of the best investigative, paralegal, non-lawyer, but discovery type work done in the movie or in the season. So I had a couple here. I'm sure there's more, but I love Kramer investigating Mom and Pop. First was taking Jerry's sneakers and running off,
Mom and Pop,
closing the shop and ditching town.
Mom and Pop weren't even a Mom and Pop.
They didn't even have any kids.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a requirement for having a mom and pop
shop. That's a good one. Yeah,
in New York City. And then George matching up teeth marks on the pencil. With,
John Voight.
The teeth marks on his arm, trying to figure out whether it's John Voight's car that he bought from the used car lot.
Yeah,
I love that.
Matching up with matching the pencil versus his arm his arm with the actual John Voight bit him.
Yeah, we have the actual John Voight teeth marks on Kramer's arm, and we have maybe John Voight's teeth marks on a pencil that happened to still be in the car when he bought it. Which that was a question. So yeah, what do we think about the dealership's liability there on selling George on a car based on the fact that John Voight, the actor, owned it previous?
Yeah, so is there an implied
probably
implied person that you're John Voight? I think so, yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, used car dealers, they're probably not held to that high of a legal standard on these. There's a lot of puffing. There's a lot of puffing going on in their sales.
But that's a statement of fact, right? Not puffery. I'm trying to think the actual words that he used. He said it was driven by John Voight, which is true.
Yeah, I think he says used
John Voight,
to belong
the periodontist.
Yeah, used to belong to John Voight, or is that previous owner of John Voight? Something like that.
Wally goes, "You bought John Voight's LeBaron?" John Voight, the actor? No, the periodontist. I went to dental school with him.
Yeah.
By the way, man, I'm just blanking right now, but the actor that played Tim Whatley and that went on to do Breaking Bad, Cranston, Bryan Cranston. Man, what a career.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
He's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody that's listening to this probably knows him more from Breaking Bad, but Tim Whatley is where it all started.
He started as Tim Whatley.
Another great recurring character for on Seinfeld.
Which is a pretty good Seinfeld impression too. Have you heard him interviewing?
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I don't think so.
It is. Yeah, maybe you have to find that clip there. But he's telling stories about the being on the set. I think it's the dentist, and he's. I guess he kind of ad-libbed the scene where he takes a hit of the nitrous when he's talking with Jerry. And I think so. I can't remember the story, but I think he put that.
Oh
he
my
just
God.
did that, and Jerry lost it laughing, and so they kept it in there. But you should hear him tell the story. It's hilarious.
I will definitely have to look that up, and if I can put the clip in, I will. Yeah, that's awesome.
You land the role of Dr. Tim. Through a regular audition, Tim Whatley was the dentist to that crazy group. And every time that I went on the show, I did like 6 different episodes. It was, for all I knew, the last time I was going to do it. But I remember the audition. Jerry was in there, and I made him laugh. If you can make Jerry laugh, and he's not an easy laugh. Well, I say that, and yet there was one time. Can I tell a story?
Sure, please.
Okay. I was in the dentist's office, and I asked my dental hygienist, can I have the nitrous oxide? It's the laughing gas, and I put it on Jerry. He goes out, and then he thinks that my hygienist and I are molesting him. And he says, his shirt was untucked, and he goes, well, wait a minute. I don't think it was tucked. I think it was tucked in when I got in there, and now it's untucked. I don't know if it was tucked or untucked. So we rehearsed this scene, and they all go to another scene. I stayed on that set to get used to the stool and the instruments and where things were. And I hear a voice saying, hey, it would be funny. And I look out, and on a ladder, adjusting a light, is a guy. I go, you talking to me? Yeah. I went, what? He goes, it'd be funny if you first took a hit of the laughing gas before you gave it to him. And I thought, my God, that is funny. So I waited until we were shooting. And then sure enough, I go, nurse, may I have the nitrous oxide? And I took the thing and I went, yeah, that's good. And Jerry falls over laughing. It was hilarious. And Larry David, who sometimes when he's in his head, he doesn't laugh at something, he recognizes humor. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That's good. That's funny. Good. Funny. Good. Yes. Good and funny. Yeah. He said, Jerry, stop laughing. Let's do it again. Keep it. That stays. Okay. Nurse, the nitrous oxide. And I just ask for it, and Jerry starts laughing. Jerry, stop laughing. Jerry. And we were there for an hour just trying to get this. But they kept saying, oh, it was so funny. That was a great bit. And I went, well, the ladder's not there anymore. And I went, some guy that, and I pointed off to a corner, and I said, that guy gave it to me. And everybody's head turns toward the guy who's now leaning against a wall. And he just did one of these. As if I got
him taking the hit off the nitrous before putting it on Jerry is just... I mean, you can imagine sitting in a dental chair and your dentist takes a puff off the nitrous before putting you under.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
Oh yeah.
And actually, while not everybody may remember all these episodes and characters and stuff, but phrases definitely have stuck, like the yada yada yada, that kind of stuff. Whatley's label maker regifting,
that's a big one.
Regifting, degifting, all came from Whatley.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'd say that's still a phrase that's used.
He was the original regifter.
The original regifter of the label maker. That was the worst gift I ever got. You put a label on something, 3 seconds later, it'd peel right off. Oh man. Oh, you know what I've used? I've used this so many times. I can't think of it. It's not Whatley directly, but Whatley gives Jerry that Super Bowl ticket, and then Jerry offers it to George. And George says, "Are you paying for my airfare and hotel in Miami?" Jerry's like, "What do you think?" So this is a bill. This is a bill for $1,500.
Exactly.
I've used that so many times in my life, honestly, when someone's tried to, or we've talked about something, we can go to this or give that, it's free ticket.
I know.
Yeah, but it's not free. I mean, it's a bill for $1,500.
Yeah, it applies in a lot of situations for sure.
It applies in so many situations. No, so, okay, any other investigative nominees?
One I thought of, it's not good investigative work, but it's funny, I think, is so this is the episode where Susan's died. She died the previous season. George's fiance, and so George is working at the foundation, and he thinks that the foundation, the members there might think that George had some part in Susan's death, and so he's trying to figure out how he can figure out whether they are. And so he goes and spends his entire day, takes a day off work, and builds this model that has a model of the boardroom with a little Mr. Peanut guy as his
right.
These kind of things. First of all, I skipped the whole first part. So the first part is he tries to leave a tape recorder in there. That's right.
Yeah.
So he tries to leave his briefcase in there, leave the room with the tape recorder in it, and hear what happens. And the tape recorder gets stopped, and it makes such a really strange sound. So he tries to recreate the scene to try to figure out what happened to the tape recorder, and then he builds this elaborate model, and it's no help at all. And he explains everything, and Jerry's like, "But we already knew all that, right?" It's like, "Yeah,
well, yeah."
So just a big waste of time. It's classic George.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I had that written down as a legal issue though. So he leaves the tape recorder in the boardroom and then comes back to get it. It's the old Jerry Lewis trick. Right. That's what they say. He would used to leave recorders to come back and see what people would say about him. Yeah. And I suppose depending on what state you're in, if it's a 1-party, 2-party, like you may or may not be able to record people.
It is. Right. That's right.
And he's not there. So it's I think he's not there. So like he's not even in a 1-party. So like
you're right.
That's a zero. I think most of the time that's not going to be.
I think that's probably right. Add that to the list of crimes.
Yeah, no, that's on the list here. Yeah, for sure. No, the investigation into the what happened to the briefcase is great.
Yeah. He's describing all the sounds. He's like a metallic squink. A galonk.
Mysterious galonk.
Galonk.
And someone shouting out, "Dear God!" Dear God. And then like the head guy gives this perfectly rational explanation as to what happened.
I know.
Oh, the Foundation's an underrated component of those few episodes that it's in that one season.
Yeah.
The interviewing the kids for the scholarship.
Oh yeah, that was great.
The Susan Ross scholarship. Yeah. Love that. Quick, what's your favorite animal?
Frog.
Yeah, frog is wrong.
Quick, what's your favorite animal?
I don't know. Frog?
Frog?
Well,
Frog is wrong.
I like that one. That's a good one. Let's go with that.
All right.
All right. The Judge Chamberlain Haller Award. Chamberlain Haller is the judge in My Cousin Vinny. So we named this award after him because we love Judge Haller.
Right.
We've already talked about most of the judge stuff. And so for me, it's that judge in Newman's scofflaw one with that look at Kramer at the end. Because, the other ones, we don't really have the judges interacting all that much with the cast or anything.
Yeah. I like when in the finale when Judge Art Vandelay reads the verdict and the sentence. I think that's a pretty good one. The way he's
I don't even remember that. So what's that?
Yeah, so he's talking about like I don't know what or how the circumstances came where you four found each other, and talking about, but I can think of nothing that would be more suitable for you guys to spend the next year removed from society. Basically, he's just exasperated after hearing all this evidence.
I do not know how or under what circumstances the four of you found each other. But your callous indifference and utter disregard for everything that is good and decent has rocked the very foundation upon which our society is built. I can think of nothing more fitting than for the four of you to spend a year removed from society.
All the stories. Yeah, I'll grab that clip and put it here.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah,
I love his delivery on that.
That's so good. All right, the Colonel Nathan R. Jessup Award for the best witness moment.
Yeah, we've talked about it already, but I have to go with Kramer and the when he's on the stand with Newman arguing. Just justifying, crossing, we're just messing everything up. Yeah, it's just too good.
Ooh, I'm distraught. Ooh, like makes like crazy. Like Newman's crazy. So I had a couple here. Man, Babu on the stand in the finale.
Oh yeah, that was good.
is really good.
Yeah,
and then, man, pointing that big old index finger
as they go to break. Yeah, that's so good.
As they go to break. Very, very bad. I had the Kramer on the stand in the speeding ticket, and then Jerry on the stand getting broken on the Sue Ellen trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were kind of my favorites. I don't know. Yeah, I go with either of those, but
let's go with Babu.
Babu.
Yeah,
gotta love Babu.
Gotta go with him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So for our brief recess here, the only thing I had that I was going to mention, I went back to just see like what, and I'm sure there are others, but I was looking to see like what maybe like legal issues or lawsuits came up around the show during the course of its airing, and the one that I wanted to pull up and just mention was I had forgotten about this. I knew it at the time, I think, but was that they named George Costanza after one of Seinfeld's college friends, Michael Costanza.
I didn't know
that. Who also I think was, balding, stocky, powerful,
slow-witted.
Yeah. And so he sues Jerry and everybody for $100 million, saying it tarnished his reputation and all this stuff. It gets dismissed for a number of reasons. I think statute of limitations, but also not being able to show harm, and also the fact that he appears as a cameo in one of the episodes early on. And so it's like, you weren't really that upset about this. This didn't like really hurt you too much or whatever. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that was happening.
I hadn't heard that.
But yeah. And then, of course, one of the other things, if people don't know about this, but the one of the episodes, Jay Peterman, who's a recurring character and Elaine works for in a couple of seasons, Kramer develops a Peterman reality tour where he takes people around New York to pretend, because he's pretending to be Peterman because he sold his life stories to Peterman for his autobiography, because Elaine was short on material as she was ghostwriting it. And so Kramer thinks he's broken through and does this whole reality tour, and they go from place to place, and it's a terrible tour and the whole thing. But then the reason why I'm talking about it here is because then the actual Kenny Kramer, who the show's based the Cosmo Kramer character off of, who was Larry David's neighbor in New York when they were coming up in the 60s and 70s, created his own reality bus tour in New York to take people around to different sites of Seinfeld Note in Manhattan. And so sort of like art, or life imitating art, I guess, in that sense. And we've been on that tour.
We have been. That was a fun tour. I could tell though he was he was an interesting character, Kenny Kramer. He was not too far off from Cosmo Kramer.
No, I think there were a lot of things. I think the entrepreneurism, the golf, the always coming up with the crazy ideas, a lot of it, and being a neighbor, was the neighbor and was always, I think, over at Larry's apartment. So yeah, a lot of similarities, but in the show, the Peterman reality tour that Kramer was giving away, it was like, what was it? How much did it cost? Like $50 or $60 and
$37.50.
Yeah, $37.50.
Yeah,
and you get a bite-sized Three Musketeers. It's for dessert, bite-sized Three Musketeers. And on the Kenny Kramer tour is bite-sized Three Musketeers.
Exactly.
The real one. It was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. There weren't the last few awards here. I don't think we really had jurors or much with juries to talk about.
I can't think of any.
I think for me, on the best client moments, the best clients moments to me were with Jackie and Kramer, almost always.
Yeah, pretty much every scene.
That they had together.
Especially when Kramer would first walk in and start presenting the case. I love Jackie's responses were always so good. Trying to kind of just build the case and get the confidence going, and
yeah. And then one that we haven't really talked about yet, because the finale, it's funny because some of the stuff you have to remember. we watched so many of those older episodes so many times. And then when the show ended at the finale, I definitely don't feel like I've seen the finale nearly as many times as I've seen pick any episode in seasons 1 through 8. Right. Like I just haven't seen it as many times. But I remember when he's commenting at the finale on how they all look for the trial. And Elaine says, "How do I look, Jackie?" "Ooh, you always look good."
I know. Exactly.
Because he's representing all
four of them. Yep. Yeah.
And he says something like, "I'll tell you, here's another good client one with them." He's like, "The who? You people have a nickname for everyone."
I know. The low talker.
The low talker, the high talker, the close talker. All of those came from that.
The soup Nazi. Yep.
The soup Nazi. Yeah. The soup who? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, we should talk about the soup Nazi.
You know what? I think I just thought of another, not to derail us here, but I think I just thought of another lawyer that was not named and off screen. And this is the episode where so Susan's friend Sally Weaver comes into town, and she decides to start doing her own show, and Jerry had given her some really bad advice and told her to just quit because he was, quit show business. And so she starts up her own show. It's called? It's like Jerry Seinfeld is the Devil. I think it's the name of the show. And she basically spends an hour just stand up by herself talking negative things about Jerry, and so Jerry's lawyer writes her a cease and desist letter. So that's one more lawyer in there.
It definitely is. I have that on my list here of legal issues that arise. Jerry sending that cease and desist, so she.
So she ignores
so he thinks he's won. He thinks he's shut her up, and then she gets more material, and he's trying to figure out where it's from, and then it turns out it was from Kramer.
From Kramer, right? Yeah, because he had taken a vow of silence, or I guess
Kramer had taken a vow of silence because Jerry had said, "Why don't you keep your big mouth shut?"
Right? Because
he had told her to just quit.
Yeah,
and so between the lawyer and the code of silence, Jerry thought he had cut off the material for Sally Weaver, who is actually Kathy Griffin,
right?
Who became very famous after this, obviously, but for good and bad reasons, I suppose, at this point. But yeah, that was that. Yeah, so we had a lawyer involved. We also, I don't think she was a lawyer, but his whatever agent or business manager, the woman that was booking him in Buffalo, and who caused all the trouble on the flight back, and the airline pilot.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name was.
Yeah.
Katie, I think.
Katie. Yeah, Katie. Just other, a few other. And as we're, I'm looking at the clock here, and probably need to wind it down, but. I mean, random, I'm just looking at my list of other random things. I love, what do we think about George's liability on knocking Bette Midler into the hospital at the softball game? Plowing her over.
She was blocking the plate, so it was. I think he had a clear path, and no, I don't know.
No, so it's funny. When I teach sports law, I'm going to teach it this fall, and we teach assumption of the risk, which is a lot of sports law is assumption of risk.
Absolutely, yeah.
And putting yourself in those positions. We do skiing accidents and golf accidents with people getting hit with golf balls and skis and different things. And this is a good example of that, and it's sort of like the standard of, is it basically the standard tends to be, is it willful, wanton, kind of basically that gross negligence standard on behalf of the actor. And so, yeah, I think in this case, he was just going for home.
It's arguable for sure. I think I'd rather represent Bette Midler in that one.
We do have a. We can't leave without talking about the Jiffy guy, because we have a prostitution ring going on in the Jiffy Park.
That's true. Yeah, there's all kinds of legal issues.
There's some legal liability there. Didn't you at one time have the Jiffy Park T-shirt?
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, that was. Yeah, it didn't make it. It's not. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, that was one of my favorite.
I'll bet
T-shirts.
you can still find it.
You probably can. I need to get a new one.
Maybe get the Jiffy Dump this.
Jiffy Dump. Yeah, that guy is my favorite actor too. I think him and Darren are my two favorite, minor characters.
Yeah. So George has this. They find this like great deal on this parking lot where they can park their cars, and we find out the reason why it's such a great deal is because they're making money on prostitution. That's why they're subsidizing the parking lot in the cars or whatever. But the guy that runs it, the Jiffy Park place, has just got the best accent, the best tone and delivery on his lines. And, he uses all this like corporate speak for like terrible customer service.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think I made a big mistake. I'd like my deposit back, please.
What's the problem?
You got hookers turning tricks in my car. How's that for starters?
That is all hearsay.
All right, very good. I'd like my car and my deposit back, please.
Can't do it.
What do you mean?
If you read the agreement you signed, the deposit is non-refundable.
Well, does it say anything in the contract about my car being used as a whorehouse? Because I don't remember reading that clause either.
What can I tell you, buddy? Take it up with Consumer Affairs.
All right, just give me my car and let me get the hell out of here.
That's going to be a problem.
Why?
It's all the way in the back. We can't get it out for a couple of days.
What are you talking about? I want my car.
We ask that you please bear with us.
Bear with you? This is a parking lot. People are supposed to be able to get their cars.
Ideally. Hey. Where do you think you're going?
Well, I was gonna dump this.
Doesn't look like garbage.
Well, it's muffin stumps.
Where are the muffin tops?
This is a garbage dump. Just let me dump it.
Can't do it.
Is this a joke?
That's what I like to know about it.
Well, maybe I will take it up with Consumer Affairs.
Yeah, says everything with we. Like, we ask that you please bear with us.
Cars all the way in the back. Can't get it out for a couple of days.
I
know. What can I tell you, buddy? Take it up with Consumer Affairs.
I know.
Consumer Affairs. Yeah. Bear with us. And then in that Peterman tour episode later is where there's a Jiffy Dump. They're trying to dump those muffin tops. And you got the Jiffy Dump now. And it's the same guy, same logo, just Jiffy Dump instead of Jiffy Park. And they don't let him dump the muffin tops there. Where are the muffin tops?
Where are the tops?
Or the muffin stumps, yeah. I can't.
Well, and then when he's at the Jiffy Park, he uses the T-shirts to get any kind of consumer complaints. He just like brings out that box of T-shirts.
That box of T-shirts.
That doesn't explain the lipstick on the dashboard.
Here, take a few shirts.
Yeah, take a few shirts, and they go down and get
they take them.
You can see like them going down to
like that works.
Shirts. Oh, here's one. How about the Molly Shannon character in Peterman's office creating a hostile work environment?
Yeah, that's for certain. That's hard to know. Is it past the line between catfight and hostile work environment? I don't know.
Yeah. Or the what?
The shop. Yeah, exactly.
Straight-arm woman down at Peterman's trashed my office. And then listen to this. This is the message she left me.
Elaine, I am going to find you. If not in your office, then in the Xerox room, or the small conference room next to the kitchen, or the kitchen.
I mean, she must have a blueprint of the building or something.
Not in your apartment, then in the laundry room, or the ATM in the building across the street, or the watch shop.
Can't you do anything about this? I mean, this woman is a psycho.
Oh, man. Yeah, Leo shoplifts at the bookstore. There's a whole thing about shoplifting in the bookstore. Yeah. Did Jerry make a promise on taking Banya to dinner for the Armani suit?
Right. Yeah.
Did he ever fulfill that?
Yeah. Does soup count as a meal?
Man, how about them like jumping on the pool boy in the pool and knocking him out and then not resuscitating him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a gamble.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's probably a duty to rescue in that situation.
Oh, that's what I was going to mention. Actually, I put this in my notes so I wouldn't mess it up. Yeah, because between that and the finale, which is all based around Good Samaritan laws. So yeah, in the finale, the whole premise of them being on trial is that there's a guy that's robbed and they don't do anything to help. They just film it and laugh at him.
Right.
And so that's why they get arrested. And it's this new law in Massachusetts at the time called the Good Samaritan law. So anyway, I went back and actually looked. So right now with Good Samaritan laws, I think this is where things stand. A decent number of states have some version of it, but most of them are actually creating protection from civil liability for the bystander to get involved and not get sued if they screw something up, basically. So that's most of it.
I see.
A few states have requirements that you step in if it's not going to be risking harm to yourself or serious injury or death to yourself if you can. And so like Vermont has that, Rhode Island has that, Minnesota has that. And it's like up to like, in Vermont, $100 fine if you don't do it. In Rhode Island, it's a $500 fine and up to 6 months in jail.
Wow.
Hardcore.
Similar to Massachusetts and Seinfeld.
Yeah. So in Texas and some other states too, but Texas Penal Code 3817, failure to stop a report. This is aggravated sexual assault of a child. So a lot of the other states are limited down to child assault, child abduction, child sexual assault cases. So if you're a bystander, if you observe act on a child that you think is going to be a sexual assault or assault, then you do have a duty to either intervene or report it immediately to authorities. And if you don't, it's a Class A misdemeanor, which in Texas is up to 1 year in jail and a fine of up to $4,000.
Okay.
So, but that's a very limited scope one.
Right.
But yeah, so Good Samaritan law. Good to know. I didn't look up the Washington one. They're out there, Jerry.
If the moral requirement is not enough, there's also legal requirements. So that's good.
Right. Exactly. Man, there's so many more. But we've been going at it for an hour and a half. That's probably good.
That's probably good.
But there's another hour and a half worth of material.
I would say so.
But man, this is fun.
This was a lot of
so
fun.
much good stuff here. I'll have to go back and watch some of these all the way through now, aside from just, pulling up some script notes and highlights and stuff. But man, Seinfeld and the Law, there's a lot of great stuff.
There's a lot. Yep. Start back at episode 1 and go to 180.
And start over. Yeah, episode 1. And like we were saying, so actually by the time people are hearing this, it will be off Hulu and I think on Netflix next. So I don't know if it'll be on Netflix yet, but it will be. So if you've never watched Seinfeld, because whatever reason, it will be there. And you can go and start at episode 1, go through it. And check out all the legal issues now that we've highlighted for you. All right. Bobby, man, this is fun. Thanks for doing it with me.
Yep. Thanks a lot. This was great.
All right. See everybody.
Hello, Daniel. Jackie Chiles here. Happy 43rd birthday, buddy. Happy 43rd birthday to you and everybody who loves you. Now, this message has been given to you by Bobby. And Bobby says that you're special. Not only are you special, but you, my friend, we hope that you have a restful, resplendent, magnificent birthday. Oh, I hear you just love Jackie Chiles. Well, I love you too. I do. I just think you're amazing. And I hear that you have started your own illegal recruitment firm in Texas to help find the next Jackie Chiles. Well, good luck with that, because, there's only one Jackie Chiles. And you're looking right at him. Yeah, look at me. Ties all sharp, looking spiffy, look like the peak, lapel, the double-breasted. Everything is sharp. That's what Jackie is. So if you're going to find the next Jackie Chiles, they got to look good. They got to look good. They got to sound good. They got to be smart. Smart up here. Big brain. Got to be a lot of gray matter up there. Because, Jackie Chiles, he never loses. Unless it's Kramer or Seinfeld or Elaine or any of those crazy, terrible trio that never ever helps Jackie win a case ever. So if you find the next Jackie Chiles, make sure that next Jackie Chiles doesn't find clients of the level of Kramer and Elaine and Seinfeld, because they are a losing proposition all the way around. No matter how good a lawyer you are. You've seen it. You've seen my many missteps and mishaps with those people. One of my many public humiliations is what I'm saying. You don't need that, Daniel. You don't need public humiliations. So find yourself a good Jackie Chiles. Find yourself a Jackie Chiles that's wonderful, resplendent, magnificent, just like you. Make sure that they find good clients. Clients that are a little cut above, maybe 3 cuts above the Seinfeld group, if you know what I'm saying. That's my dog back there. Is a little puppy. She's a small, little thing, fuzzy, furry. It's cute. It's really cute. So maybe, Daniel, on your birthday, maybe buy yourself a cute puppy. A little old puppy, cute, fuzzy, furry, and then you can hug it, love up on it, and they are unconditional with that love. So on this amazing birthday, I want you to have unconditional love in your life from people like Bobby and all the people and family and friends that love you. So from Jackie, who loves you too. Daniel, you have an amazing birthday today. Happy 43rd, brother. Happy 43rd.